It's time for today's travel and cruise industry news. With the latest from travel and cruises around the world, here's your host, Chillie Falls.
Good morning. Welcome to Travel and Cruise Industry News. I was out in the green room talking with my guest for today and almost let things slip up on me. But anyway, welcome to Travel and Cruise Industry News on this, the 11th day of January, 2022. And today, folks, for those of you that follow this kind of thing, today is National Hot Toddy Day. You know what to do about that. Go make one. All right, not much in the way of cruise ship action today, sailing from North American ports. Down in Port Canaveral, we've got Mariner of the Seas sailing. And out in Los Angeles, San Pedro, the Seabourn Ovation is sailing today. Today's headlines, which we'll get to after our guest this morning, is Carnival Horizon out of Drydock. San Francisco updates its booster requirements. Werften files for bankruptcy. Norwegian changes Latitudes program. Grand Princess lands in Hawaii. And a lot more. The guests on Travel and Cruise Industry News podcast for the rest of the week. We got Chris Wood coming on tomorrow. He's the guy that's founded Flying Disabled, and he's been working with airlines trying to improve the way airlines muscle disabled folks on and off airplanes. Jordan Taylor from JJ Cruise will be with us on Thursday. And then who knows what's going to happen next week. Next week's going to be wild and woolly as I get ready to go cruising. And of course, to access the Travel and Cruise Industry News podcast, all you have to do is go to my accessible blog, which is accessadventure.net. Every day's episode will be up on the blog, as well as lots of things from various writers, accessible writers around the world. Also available, the podcasts are available on all the main places like Spotify, iHeartRadio, Podchaser, Pandora, Stitcher, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. All you have to do is search for Travel and Cruise Industry News. So, my special guest today, we've had her on lots of times before. She's the Sunday cruise editor of the London Times, Sue Bryant. Sue, welcome
Hello.
back to
Thank you very much. Happy New Year.
To the Travel and Cruise Industry News podcast. Yeah, so, how you been doing over there in crazy UK?
Oh, sitting tight, waiting for COVID to finish, and not doing. Actually, no, I did do a cruise in December, which we're going to talk about. But it's pretty quiet here at the moment. You know, middle of winter, a few ships sailing, but not. Nah, we're all looking forward to spring.
Now, you know, it's always been my policy to never put a guest on the spot.
Oh God, here we go.
But I got to put you on the spot. A little bird whispered in my ear. Actually, whispered in Tina Turner's ear back there. That's Tina Turtle.
Oh.
And then Tina whispered in my ear that you're quite a singer.
Oh God.
And I understand that you did some pretty neat performing around the holiday season. Tell me about it.
Oh, yes, we did. I sing in the most fantastic choir, which I love, called the West End Musical Choir, because I'm a complete nut for musical theatre. And we did a wonderful performance on the steps of St. Paul's Cathedral. And we sang Feed the Birds from Mary Poppins, which obviously takes place in the original film there. And lots of Christmas songs and all songs from musicals. And it was lovely. I mean, nothing to do with cruising, but it was just such a lovely thing to do. And it was also, I've never been so cold. I've been to Antarctica and not been that cold. So if you look at the video, I think you can just see me looking a bit grumpy and very cold. But yeah, it was really nice. And then we did another recording at the Globe Theatre in London, which went out all over the world actually on Christmas Eve on the BBC. So I was very proud to be part of that.
That's just awesome. I'm impressed. I'm always impressed with people that could come up with talent that I don't know they had.
Well, listen, I sing in a choir for a reason, not as a soloist for a reason. I like being in a choir. I have no aspirations to do anything else.
I used to do the same thing. You mentioned something. I was planning on doing it in reverse, but since you mentioned Antarctica, we'll skip over the first batch of questions and the pictures I've got, and we're going to go to Antarctica.
Ooh,
If the health, well, first tell me about the current health situation, travel restriction situation for UK folks. I have trouble keeping up with this country, and goodness knows I have trouble keeping up with your country and this country. I mean, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, so it's very different getting into this country from getting out of this country. So it's pretty easy to get in now. The fit to fly test thing has gone. The PCR test on arrival has gone. So basically, anyone can get in essentially with very little testing. So, but to get out of this country to go anywhere else is extremely difficult, as it is for American travelers as well. So to get into Chile, which is where my Antarctica trip starts, is beyond strict. I mean, absolutely beyond strict. I shall be living in complete isolation for a week now before I go. But I've got to have a test next Monday, a PCR test to fly, another test at the airport in Santiago when I arrive. Then I have to isolate in a hotel. Then I have to have another test to get on the ship. So let's hope that COVID does not find its way onto this ship, because it's so strict. It's traveling in a bubble and super strict protocols on board. Oh, and you have to fill in an app every day in Chile to say where you are and what your state of health is. It's going to be interesting when I'm, crossing the Antarctic Circle. And you have to have a special pass, which I've already got, with batch numbers of vaccines on it. I mean, it's just, it's a full-time job getting ready for this. But to get back into the UK, I mean, I could come back with anything. I could just fly back. So,
all right. And what ship are you going to be on once you get, assuming that all goes well and you you're negative for everything, and you're going to go get on a boat?
I'm going to be on the new Ponant ship, which is the Le Commandant Charcot, which is a super fancy expedition ship that runs on a combination of battery power and LNG. So super green and very fast, or very strong, and it can actually break through ice. So normally in Antarctica, the ships kind of pick their way through the broken ice, but this one can actually cut through ice. It's not like the big icebreakers you see in the winter in Helsinki, but it's an icebreaker class ship.
All right, now this time of year, this will be summertime down there.
Yeah.
But what's summer like in Antarctica?
Well, I've been before, and actually at the very beginning of the season, so in November, which is early spring there, and it was just the bluest sky I've ever seen in my life, and the whitest snow, and the clarity of the air is just extraordinary. I mean, the colours are so bright, but we did have absolutely lovely weather, and the temperature is around freezing or just above freezing, and you're active all the time. You're out, hiking and snowshoeing and exploring. So as long as you're properly dressed, it's not freezing cold. But then again, I haven't had that situation where I'm standing in a horrible biting wind or anything. So
right.
But I'm hoping, I don't care. I'll put up with it. I just want to be in Antarctica.
And then you made a mistake of mentioning something to me that I probably wasn't supposed to hear, that you're worried about booking 20 river cruises or something. Are you going on that many river cruises?
No. In our Sunday Times cruise specials, we always do we call it a list, a roundup of ideas for 20 of this to book, 20 of that to book. So I've had to find 20 river cruises to consider now, to book now. And it's quite hard, because obviously for Brits and also for Americans, a lot of river cruising is in Asia. Asia's a really strong destination for river cruising, but it's not really opening up yet. So I couldn't put Asia. I've put loads of Europe, but people are obviously looking for something new. The Nile is making a comeback. So provided Egypt stays relatively healthy and we're allowed in, the Nile is going to be big, also with the new Death on the Nile film coming out soon, very soon, I think. So I found my 20, but I had to scratch around a bit. And a lot of it's kind of like, let's hope it's okay to do this at the end of the year or the end of the summer, because for now, obviously there's no river cruising in Europe to speak of at the moment because it's the middle of winter. But when it all starts up again in March, I really hope that borders are open, ships can sail, cities aren't in lockdown. Because it was so sad to see the end of 2021 with all the cruises just grinding to a halt in Europe.
Yeah. with the
So
Christmas markets and all that.
I
Yeah,
know,
oh, it was
I
awful.
know. Yeah, so
I
really
had a, we
hoping.
had a couple of my people were over there, so I had some lovely reports back while they were sailing, but then it just all just kind of died on the vine, and that's
Yeah, the last couple of weeks of the season really, a lot of the markets didn't happen and
yeah.
ships stopped. I mean, ships were sailing straight through Austria because Austria was in lockdown, so no one was going to Vienna. So yeah, I
Now,
think June went on one, didn't she? Your other guest, she's
yeah.
did one, but
Now, am I allowed to ask you, since we are in somewhat public situation, about the supplement that's going to come out in the Times here one of these days?
you can ask me about it. I mean, I think
Okay.
I've already told you one of the things that's in it. So 20 river cruises. I mean, we do these supplements every couple of months, so they're regular things. But my Canary Islands cruise is in it. The Janine's MSC cruise to Ocean Key is in it.
Yeah. Where she
And
invaded this country. Came
she
over here,
did.
invaded us. That's what I call it.
And what else? We've got a piece on eco-friendly cruising, which is a big topic at the moment, and my regular cruise news. So, yeah, 23rd of January.
Okay, so that's coming out
Available
soon.
online as well. So
yeah. Okay. Now, what I was going to do first today, which I'm not going to do last. Here, back a little while ago, you went on a boat. You were actually out there on an Azamara ship.
Yep,
Right?
Azamara journey. Oh, there I am.
That would be you. And I can't see. Is that an adult beverage? I shouldn't ask that.
It's one of many, yes. Yeah.
Okay, now this is a hike in Madeira.
Yeah, this is in Portugal. Well, Madeira, Portuguese island. So the cruise went to it sailed from Gran Canaria and it went around the Canary Islands, and it also had an overnight in Madeira, which was quite new to me because I've only ever got off a ship in Madeira and flown home, and I've always wanted to do these levada hikes. So that levada it's the old water channels that bring water from the wetter side of the island to the drier side, and it's a most amazing system. And there's footpaths, trails going along the side of them. So the water channels sort of snake around the contours of these incredible hills, and you can do some really lovely hikes. And you can see down to the right of that, it's just a cliff just drops away. So it's quite a narrow path, but it was really nice. It was just a lovely day. We did so many hikes on that trip.
All right, now is La Palma that's one of the other Canary Islands?
Yes, now we're back in the Canary Islands. So the Canary Islands are Spanish and Madeira's Portuguese.
Yeah.
And I was particularly interested to go to La Palma because the volcano there has been erupting, which I'm sure you've seen in the news since September.
Yeah.
And we actually we were going to the capital on the eastern side of the island, and we said to the captain, "Oh, can you just do a little sail past of the volcano so we can have a look at it erupting?" And he just sort of rolled his eyes. And then a message came later saying, regrettably, it won't be possible. And we realized then that it would have added hours and hours to the journey to do the sail pass, plus the fact that there was nothing to see because the volcano was just shrouded in smoke and mist and cloud. Yeah. But that's quite near the volcano, that picture. But look how beautiful the scenery is there.
I had no idea of the mountainous terrain in the Canary Islands.
Yeah. Oh, they're all volcanic. So it's La Palma is just absolutely beautiful. If anyone were to go there, I would say go on the tour across to the west to the national park, because the scenery is just extraordinary. Yeah. And you can't quite see it because it's behind the clouds, but behind those little white puffy clouds, there's a whole load of observatories up there, and apparently it's one of the best places in the world for stargazing because the sky is so clear and it's so high up. But yeah, it's just, I mean, all this. I love that ship. We had such a nice time on it.
Yeah, I was going to ask you. I've not been on an Azamara ship.
You need to change
you
that.
Tell me a little bit about the Azamara journey.
Yes, I mean, what I love about Azamara is that the ships are a perfect mid-size, so 680 passengers, although we only had 329 on ours. I mean, they're old ships. It's 22 years old, that ship, but it's easy to get around. The crew are just fantastic. The crew are so friendly. The service was extraordinary. And the food was as good as I've had on ultra luxury. I mean, the cabins are quite small. We had a balcony, which was nice, but the cabins are quite small because the ships were built in like 1999. So, but it's just a good ship. It's nice. There's lots of deck space. The entertainment was good. Everything about it, if you don't want the choice of dozens and dozens of restaurants and things, was just extremely pleasant. So
most of my cruising, I've done 48 now, so I got 49, 50, and 51 coming up. I'll leave in 13 days. So my first
48 cruises, not 48 years old.
I wish. I have underwear that's 48 years old, for heaven's sakes. But anyway, more and more, I'm perfectly satisfied in main dining rooms. I don't, I might do one specialty restaurant just so I can talk about it. But for the most part, most of my cruising, I've been totally satisfied doing my dinners in main dining rooms.
If the main dining room's good, if the main dining room's kind of mediocre, and then the only way to get decent food is to go to the specialty restaurants, then it's a different story.
Yeah.
I mean, I like to kind of try everywhere, so I do tend to eat in as many places as possible. And on Azamara, in what's the buffet by day, they have themed dinners every night. So, and there were a lot of Brits on board, so when they did the curry night, the place was full. We all flocked to it. So. But the food was excellent. The food was very good in all the restaurants. I didn't have any complaints at all.
Now, this is, I realize, a little bit backwards, but you got some splaining to do, Sue. Some splaining to do. Because one of the pictures I have of this journey, you walked out on this little piece of glass.
Yes.
580 meters in the air.
Yes, it was terrifying.
And tell me, why in the hell did you do that?
Well, because they took us there. It was so that's my feet.
Yeah.
And what you're looking at there is this sheer drop, 580 meters, nothing between me and the sea down there. It's the highest, I think it's the highest cliff in Europe, or one of the highest cliffs in Europe. And of course, where there's a high cliff, somebody builds a glass platform and fools go and stand on it just to take selfies.
Yeah.
And I don't like heights. So believe me, it took effort to do that. Some people just stroll out on it, but I was like picking my way out. And then I dared to look down to take a picture. But, it's extraordinary. I mean, the drama in the Canary Islands, that's actually Madeira, not the Canaries, but the drama of the cliffs and the black beaches and the sheer drops and the forests and everything. It's such a beautiful place. But yeah, I had to do it. Couldn't not go on the platform.
And that place is known for its wine.
Oh, I don't like Madeira wine. I didn't have any.
It's popular.
It is. I know. It's not really my thing. But what we did have, now I have to try and remember this. We did have a thing called a poncha, which is much nicer than the wine, and that's the Madeiran cocktail, and it's made with sugarcane spirit, so like cachaça. I mean, I love anything with sort of rummy taste to it. Yeah. And then fresh juice and honey. So it's very sharp, but it has a sweetness, and it's quite alcoholic. And we went to this hole-in-the-wall bar after the hike, and after that, standing on the platform thing. And we ordered a round of these things, and I thought, oh no, this is going to be really expensive having cocktails. And it was like less than $2 for each cocktail. It was amazing. Wow. Yeah. Wow. And tasty.
Well, there's one thing, if I would ever go to the Madeira Islands and see that, I don't have to worry about that glass thing.
What, because you don't mind heights?
Oh, no, I'm scared to death of heights. I'm too damn fat. They wouldn't let me walk out there.
Oh, they would.
Oh, yeah, I'd fall through this stupid thing.
No, we couldn't have that, but...
yeah, that's one of the reasons I don't have to worry about doing zip lines. I don't have to worry about that. I don't have to worry about that. What's that silly thing with on the Royal Caribbean ships where you're skydiving in the tube? And I don't have to worry about that either. There's a benefit to being a big old fat man. So,
Well,
so Sue, I hope all goes well and you get to Antarctica.
oh, so do
And
I.
go down there and play with the penguins or
Yeah,
whatever.
well, observe the penguins. Probably not play with them, but
Yeah, I just don't try to bring one home. They're hell in suitcases.
they smell apparently. So.
Oh yeah, they're stinky. Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait.
All right, Sue, I got to get to the news.
All right.
So thank you so much as always.
And you enjoy your cruises.
Oh yeah, I'm starting
You're
for the next
gonna have
6
the
months.
most-
I'm gone more than I'm home.
You're going to have the most incredible time.
Yeah, I am. I'm really looking forward to it. Looking forward to my first live stream from on a boat.
Oh yeah,
So,
I can't wait to see it.
yep. All right, Sue. Thanks as always,
Thanks
and
for
we'll
having
talk
me.
to you when you get back from Antarctica.
Oh, definitely, yes. All right.
All right.
Happy
Thanks, Sue.
travels. Bye.
See ya. All right, that's Sue Bryant. She, of course, is the Sunday cruise editor of the London Times. So now we got one other thing to get to here. I did hear from Nikki and Roger this morning, and this was they're out in the South Pacific, on Viking. That's a lichen, however you pronounce that word. That's moss. Okay, that's some kind of a moss display, and Nikki says it's kind of creepy. And this was sunset last night out on the Pacific. A little rougher than it was yesterday with the pictures we had. And since Amigo John up there in Minnesota is snowed in at 38 below, Nikki had a beet salad just for the beet farmer. And that was Nikki's beet salad on the Viking ship yesterday. And then a paella with Israeli couscous, however you say that properly. And then, of course, they had cannolis for dessert, and those cannolis do look good. All right, so that is out. Oh, and then you got into some really blues in the South Pacific as they skirted Hawaii. I thought they were actually going to stop in Hawaii, but they didn't. They skirted Hawaii, and they're headed down for French Polynesia or someplace like that. So, all right. I'll be back with today's news right after we have this word from one of our network sponsors. All right, back with today's news. The Carnival Horizon is heading to Miami, finally, after completion of the emergency dry dock in Palermo, Italy. A little over a month after it emerged that the 4,000 passenger cruise ship would be out of service longer than anticipated to have its propulsion problem fixed. That's the azapods. And this time around, when it all happened a couple years ago, everybody got used to using the word azapods, and the same thing happened on this ship, but nobody's talking about azapods anymore. But anyway, sailings on the Horizon were canceled until June 22nd to accommodate the repair. Carnival responded quickly by adding the Carnival Liberty and the Carnival Sunshine into service that picked up the Horizon's guests and itineraries from Miami. As part of the dry dock, the Horizon was also adorned with the new paint job. So it's got the new blue paint on the front. According to Carnival's website, the Horizon's first cruise will set sail on January 22nd from Miami on a Southern Caribbean itinerary, stopping at Aruba, Bonaire, La Romana, Amber Cove. So, 8-day cruise. It'll be the first one out, assuming all goes well with the cruising coming up. The Sunshine is now set to move north to Charleston for the January 13th restart from Charleston, South Carolina. Little news out of San Francisco. They have announced that effective immediately, it's requiring cruise passengers who disembark in the area to either have had their booster doses of the coronavirus vaccine or test negative upon arrival. Due to the recent surge in COVID cases, the Department of Public Health is now requiring all vessels that disembark passengers in the Port of San Francisco to test all passengers that are not up to date on vaccination before coming ashore. This requirement is stricter than the federal and state guidelines and is intended to protect the people of San Francisco. The statement was made in light of Ruby Princess Reese's arrival at port, where 12 passengers tested positive upon arrival. According to the statement, 25% of the ship's guests fell under the requirement of having to test when the ship docked. That was last week. And notice that the 12% was well under 1% positivity rate on board the ship. All individuals are either asymptomatic or experiencing mild symptoms. No passengers has required medical attention. No hospitalization is needed, the statement read from San Francisco Health Department. The port said that the cruise operations in San Francisco resumed safely with strict compliance with all applicable U.S. CDC rules and regulations, as well as protocols and procedures required by San Francisco Department of Public Health. According to the statement, the Department of Public Health, the Port of San Francisco, and individual cruise lines partnered with develop memorandum of agreement for all vessels calling in San Francisco. Princess Cruises has provided private transport and quarantine accommodations, the statement said. A little further bad news. We had some of this earlier last year from Werften, ship manufacturer in Germany. They filed for bankruptcy protection yesterday. According to German media reports, the shipbuilder, owned by Genting, has not paid December salaries to approximately 2,000 employees. German media said there is a liquidity gap at MV Werften of 148 million euro, and state aid may not be enough for a bailout. German politicians, meanwhile, want to turn the Streisand location into an industrial park. Meanwhile, the German government is ready to step in and help, according to some sources. The yard delivered the Crystal Endeavor in 2021 and currently has the Global Dream under construction for Genting's Dream Cruises brand, with a sister ship set to follow in 2023. Financing for the Global Dream was said to be in doubt, with the ship sitting roughly 75% complete and set for a late 2022 delivery. Last June, the yard received a German government loan commitment with a new management team following in September. All right, Norwegian Cruise Line has made some big changes to the company's Latitudes program. The change came in part due to complaints from longtime cruisers that previously Latitudes program tiers included a huge jump between Platinum Plus and Ambassador levels. The introduction of the new tiers has been rumored for months before it was finally rolled out yesterday. And it goes on to pretty detailed changes. A couple that I'd point out: at Diamond level, which begins at 350 points, discounts are bumped up higher. In addition, an exclusive sale to sustain mixology experience is added as a one-time free cabin upgrade. Finally, the Ambassador tier, which was, as the case before, begins at 700 points, offers a complimentary 7-night cruise as a special guest. And there's now an Emerald. There's several tiers. If you're big into Norwegian Cruise Line, you need to look into this. And there is a special. I understand that strictly, a rumor now, strictly a rumor, that there is a hot air Tom level in the Latitudes program for Norwegian Cruise Lines. For anybody like Hot Air Tom, our own Hot Air Tom has 37 Norwegian Cruise Lines booked ahead. So they give him a special level. I don't know what they do for that level, but that's what I understand. Of course, the Grand Princess became the first cruise ship to dock with guests in Hawaii. when she went into Pier 2 in Honolulu, despite some concerns about Omicron and how the vessel would fare on a long trip from the U.S., the locals warmly welcomed the Grand Princess. The Princess cruise ship will spend several days exploring the islands and coastline. Grand Princess is the first of several vessels slated to return to Hawaii in the next few weeks, carrying a total of 1,188 guests and a 915-member crew. Grand Princess sailed into the port of Honolulu on Sunday. While there have been concerns amongst the local population about the return of cruising, the cruise line and the health authorities have ensured all bases are covered. After new health regulations have come into play for Puerto Rico, Royal Caribbean has been forced to implement strict entry testing and quarantine requirements for cruises sailing out of San Juan. The new regulations include entry guidelines, a stricter testing regimen for cruises, and testing before the vessel returns to Puerto Rico. Right now, the only vessel affected is Explorer of the Seas, but normally there are multiple ships sailing from San Juan. And of course, the new protocols go all the way down to kids that can't be vaccinated. So, all right. That's actually going to wrap me up on the news. Let's go see who's over in the chat room, who's fussing at me. All right, in the chat room, Kenneth's with us. Hey, Kenneth up in Pennsylvania. Says there's some great deals. Carnival's had some great deals. Yeah, I saw that one yesterday, Kenneth. $70 for a 7-night cruise on a Panorama. That's just unbelievable. Of course, you got to go like next week or something. Elizabeth with us down in Cozumel, Buenos Dias, Chile and the gang from a balmy 81 degree in sunny Cozumel. And you notice I'm in long sleeves. Yeah, it's we got to 16, I think it was last night here. Kenneth says, hey, Elizabeth, what's it cost for rent for a house in Cozumel, and what's the average cost to buy a home in Cozumel? Very good question, Kenneth. And that's one I've thought a couple times about asking Elizabeth myself, and I just keep forgetting to ask her. Hot Air Tom is with us. Carol's with us. Hi, y'all. Nikki, there's Nikki. Hi, Nikki, out in the middle of the South Pacific. Cindy's here. Cindy's with us. And there's Amy. Hi, Amy. Good to see you again, of course. Nikki says, Kenneth, if you have a house in Cozumel, it better have spare rooms for Chillie and the gang. Absolutely. Elizabeth says, Kenneth, that's like asking what the average price of a car costs. I have rented places from $350 a month up to $2,500 a month and even higher. Just depends where you want to stay on the island. It's very affordable, though. I love it, obviously. Brooklyn Traveler. I guess that's short for Brooklyn. Brooklyn Traveler. That's a new name to me, at least. Good morning, everyone. Glad to have you with us. Welcome aboard. Hot Air Tom says, thanks for asking. Not really. Took second antibiotic pain pill at AM, so I hope maybe tomorrow. He was asking how Tom's doing. He was a little under the weather. Emily's with us up in New York. She says, hey to me and to Sue. Nikki says, we arrive at our first port in Marquesas. I'm not sure how you pronounce that. At 8 a.m. on the 14th. There we go. Sex bomber. I'm not sure what language that is, but it's going to get deleted. So thought we would maybe get through a day without having a sex bomber, but no such luck. And everybody's thanking Nikki for her sending stuff through. Sue, awesome interview, awesome pictures, looks beautiful. Thanks, Kenneth. I will tell Sue. Sue's gone. She was actually sat with me through sat in the green room while I was doing news. But she's blanked out now, so I'll send her a message on that, Kenneth. Nikki says originally our cruise was scheduled to go to Hawaii, but Hawaii closed to tourists as they added more ports in the French Polynesia. Yeah, and then they opened up actually before you sailed, so it's now open, at least for some. The Princess ship landed Sunday, and Carnival Miracle is, I want to say, is doing tomorrow, maybe. Not sure on that one, but soon. Hot Air Tom says NCL has screwed all my cruises. They paid in full cruises, now want more money. No, excuse me. No, that's not good. I'm tempted to cancel them all. You're not going to do that. Surely that will get, you can get that straightened out. Hot Air. Emily says we got a little bit of snow that touched the ground late last night. It's in the teens in New York. Yeah, it's been cold. Elizabeth said we should have a talk about Cozumel one day. Okay. Always good for that. All right, guys, that's going to wrap me up for today. Again, my thanks to Sue Bryant, the Sunday cruise editor of the London Times. Always fun to talk to Sue. She takes such neat trips heading to Antarctica. Now, Hot Air Tom did that last year. But yeah, there again, that's one of my bucket list. I want to circumvent South America, including Antarctica. One of these days, maybe. So, I will tell you, there's been a little bit of development on the New York Times front. I don't know if I'm publicly supposed to say this, but I'm going to say it anyway. It looks like that the reporter is going to come into Lynchburg a few days early. He'll probably be here for one of my shows, probably Friday, before I go cruising on Monday. And then we're probably going to go do some filming at my PT session Friday afternoon. And then they're going to follow me down to Miami and get on the Freedom of the Seas and follow me around the boat. So when I'll be doing live streaming to you guys, we'll have a New York Times reporter with us, maybe. Who knows? So Cindy says, Tom, I have two that NCL messed up a month or so ago, but it got resolved. I feel sure, Tom, you can get that fixed. Just you get the right person on the phone. The Canary consists of 7 islands. They're all quite different. I've been to all as my daughter lived in Tenerife. I spent 16 winters there. I spent time on all the islands. Oh, that's awesome. I don't know why, me and my brain sometimes, I had no idea that they were so volcanic, so mountainous as they are. That's just awesome. So Amy says a reporter is following you around on a boat. Remember to keep your clothes on. Why would I want to do that? I'm going to get in the hot tub. She wants to get in the hot tub with me. Come ahead. She wants to take pictures of me in a hot tub. Come ahead. I won't be in there with one of the places that I got to work on my vegetable level in the mornings. Hot tub and a Bloody Mary. Keep the vegetable levels up. Otter says it was an IT issue as a result of the tier changes yesterday. Must have Mo, Larry, and Curly are the IT folks. Yeah, that's about the truth of it. All right, guys. That's going to wrap me up for the day. I'll be back tomorrow, same time, same channel, 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. with the latest in travel and cruise industry news. If you're new to this channel, we had a couple new people in the audience today, in the chat room at least. Welcome aboard. If you have not subscribed, I will invite you to subscribe and hit the little bell notification so you'll know when I go live or when I post new videos. And we meet here every day, 11 o'clock, Monday through Saturday, for travel and cruise industry news, and usually have some fun. And I bring in as many guests as I can bring in that appear on the Travel and Cruise Industry News podcast, which is simultaneously broadcast with Travel and Cruise Industry News live stream. So that's going to wrap me up for today, guys. I'll be back tomorrow. As always, stay safe, stay healthy. Think about cruising one of these days. We're all going to meet on the high seas. This is the old fat travel guy. Later, y'all.
I regularly post videos on all facets of the travel and cruise industry. So if you like to keep up with the latest in cruise ships, ports of call, cruises themselves, Chillie chats, and travel and cruise industry news, just hit the little subscribe button in the lower right-hand corner. Hit the bell notification so you'll be notified when a new video is up or we go live. This video was produced by Chillie's Cruises.